So, Alex today, for his 100th Q&A, I guess, came out and did a live stream where not only did he answer questions, including mine was actually the last one he answered, but he also talked about the brand split. Now, recently we had the draft, and the draft basically is sort of used like a reset, if you will, a reset button for the WWE. Basically like the seasonal reset or the post WrestleMania reset. They use the draft mainly to reset a lot of their options, basically try to freshen things up. And you would think that with a brand split that they would stick to it. And when they initially first started this back in 2002 and continued it on for at least the 8 to 9 years that followed, they tried to stay true to that. Now at times did they bring in SmackDown stars and everything? Yeah. Sometimes it was to advance a storyline like pertaining to Survivor Series or bragging rights, or they would do it for tributes like with Eddie Guerrero. So they would do all that. They would do that, but most of the time they tried to be consistent in keeping the men and women of both Raw and SmackDown separate. So they could have their own separate rivalries. They could have their own separate storylines. They can, have their own separate pay-per-views. Basically feel unique and different. But over the years, as they've continued this, it seems that they've kind of fallen short. Almost in the past decade, it seems that they're kind of not, depending and relying, on any of that anymore. Like they're trying to maintain the brand difference. They're trying to maintain keeping the men and women on the shows, but it doesn't seem like they can stay true to that. Now, when they did a reboot, a reset of the draft, if you will, of the brand extension, back in 2016-17, it looked like they were well on the way of finally, fixing the entire situation and keeping certain men and women on different shows. But, again, they've had problems doing that. And now it's gotten to a point that recently, as of today, and Alex, this is one of the first things Alex talked about, that as of today, it was announced that the UBS Arena in Elmore, New York, on the outskirts of New York City and Long Island, has basically announced that Roman Reigns, the Universal Champion, who's a SmackDown star, who was the first draft pick in this year's draft, is going to basically stay, or may not stay, but it's going to show up on Raw. And this has made a lot of people upset. It's like, why even have a brand split if you have to do this? And you know why they had to do it? Because ticket sales were dropping. They were failing. And as soon as they announced him, according to Alex, 100 or so tickets sold. 100 plus or so tickets sold. So obviously, the question is, why have a brand split if you have to rely on some other brand's champion to help move ticket sales? Now the question is he going to be on after Raw is on the air, or is he going to be on during it? And how are they going to work that into that situation? How are they going to do it? They're going to have to come up with some kind of way, some kind of storyline, some kind of reason. But yeah, it seems the brand split is not working as well as they hope for. And because now, once again, they got to rely on somebody else from another brand, the champion of another brand, to come in and move the ticket sales. So, yeah, what's the point of a brand split if you got to rely on somebody else instead of your own roster? Or instead of your own champion on your roster, on your brand, to move tickets? What's the point? Let me know what your thoughts are. Comment below, and I'll talk to you later.